Shema Israel. Hope you enjoy this next study. My name's Dee. This is my wife, Millie.
So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you wish to reach out to us, you can email us at devotedtoyah@gmail.com.
So anyway, we're in Exodus chapter 12, verse 6. It says, the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it at evening. Okay? Now, my current belief is, and I have videos on this on YouTube on the Passover and the 14th. I will make sure that I put links for this below this video. But I currently believe that the 14th is distinct from the 7 days of Passover or unleavened bread, the 7 days of unleavened bread, which is also called the Passover according to Luke. But you have the day, the 10th day where you get the lamb, and you keep that lamb all the way to the 14th before the sun goes down and starts the 15th. I believe the lamb is killed. Okay, and according to here, the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill and eat it in the evening. So they're killing it and eating it between the 14th and the 15th, because a day starts at night. A day starts when the sun goes down. That's what we currently believe. It starts when the sun goes down. So they kill it before the sun goes down because it's still the 14th, and they eat it. And then at midnight on the 15th, the first day of unleavened bread is when Yahuwah comes over and kills the firstborn. That's my current belief. And if we go through certain scriptures, you'll see that. Verse 7, and they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. Then they shall eat the flesh on that night. You see? On that night. Like I said before, night is in the evening. Day is in the evening as well, because it's the portion, it's the end of the day as the sun is going down. When the sun sets, everything after the sun set is considered night, but the sky might not be fully dark yet, but the sun is down. Okay, so just keep these things in mind. I know I'm going to be very repetitious just to kind of let you guys know where my mind is at. I'm not trying to brainwash you. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just letting you know how my mind works when it comes to how the days work according to scripture. So it says, then in verse 8, then they shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted in fire, with unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat it raw, nor boiled at all with water, but roasted in fire, its head with its legs and its entrails. You shall let none of it remain until the morning, and what remains of it until morning you shall burn with fire. And thus you shall eat it, with a belt on your waist, with sandals on your feet, and your staff on your hand. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to let you guys see the scriptures I'm looking at in my notes here, because I got a lot of cross references that we're going to go to. All right. And thus you shall eat it, with your belt on your waist, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. So you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahuwah's Passover. Why you got to have your belt on your waist and your sandals on and your stick ready? Because you are going to be leaving in a rush. You need to be getting ready to travel. So let's start doing some cross references. I wanted to focus on, let me look at the notes me and my wife came up with first. Verses 1 and 2. Yah is stating, this is our new year, the start of the new year. So one of the first things we want to mention real quick with verses 1 and 2 is that there's a belief out there by Jewish people that Rosh Hashanah is the head of the new year. but that is false. That is not biblical. That is not true. That is a tradition of men. That is a tradition of the Jews, rabbis, whatever you want to call them, the Talmudic stuff. Talmud is a library of books that rabbis and leaders have written in the Jewish communities. That many stuff that's in those books are additional commandments on top of what Yahuwah already commanded us. Their justification for it is we're actually expounding on Yah's commandments. So if he says don't work, we're going further and explaining what is considered work. And so they would actually give details that are not necessarily in scripture. They would tell you things like you can't turn on a switch in your home. You know, you're not allowed, but you can go get a Gentile and have a Gentile come to your house and turn your switch on, but you can't do it, which is a violation of scripture, because the 10 Commandments says you're not to work. Don't make your neighbors work. Don't make strangers work. Don't make anybody work. So that's why I don't trust the Talmud. I know there's some things in the Talmud that are not wrong. In our assembly, we don't even read the Talmud. We don't even consider it. We're not interested. Nothing in the scriptures tells us that we need Talmud. So we're absolutely comfortable with just the 66 books that Yahuwah has given us. We believe that has every ingredient you need to live a righteous and holy life. So that's the first thing we want to say. Rosh Hashanah is the false new year. It's not the new year. Also, it's not January. I wanted to take some time here to explain why we don't celebrate January 1st as the new year. We stumbled across this website. It is called learnreligions.com. And I want to show you guys real quick the About Us section, just so you know there's no biases here. The writers. Here's the writers of this website. I'll zoom in for you. It says, our experienced group of writers are full-time. I don't know why it's acting up now. Are full-time ministers, published authors, licensed clergy, and teachers. They are dedicated to helping readers deepen their faith, or become more familiar with the world's religions. Meet some of our writers. Mary Fairchild is a Christian writer, editor, and full-time minister. Since 2005, Mary has authored hundreds of articles on Christianity and the Bible for several brands. She worked as the general editor on several Christian books and booklets for Calvary Chapel, St. Petersburg from 2006 until 2017. Mary is also a writer for gotquestions.org. I don't know about you, but I used to use that website a lot when I used to try to look for questions. I only use that website now to disprove Christians and their false doctrines. Sometimes gotquestions.org is good. Sometimes they got good stuff. But when it comes to the law of Moses and the Hebrew roots movement, they are absolutely abhorrently wrong. This website, these people hate God's law. They hate the law of Moses. But it's very interesting. I was like, wow, she wrote for gotquestions.org. It says, a ministry that assists others in understanding the nature of God, the scriptures, salvation, and other spiritual topics. So in May 1991, Mary received a general biblical studies degree from an interdenominational Christian training center. So there you go. That's a Christian. Who's the next writer? Patty Wigginton is a pagan writer and educator with over 30 years of experience teaching workshops and classes on paganism throughout the U.S. She is a pagan high priestess and a licensed pagan clergy in the state of Ohio. I just want to let you know what website I'm going to find out the information that I'm about to share with you guys. So as you can see, we have a Christian working with a pagan to educate people on the different religions of the world. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to go to January January is, it comes from the god Janus, which is the two-faced god. Okay, there's a picture. And guess who wrote about it? Patty Wigington. So who better to speak about it than somebody who practices paganism, right? It says, in the mythology of ancient Rome, Janus was the god of new beginnings. He was associated with doors and gates and the first steps of a journey. The month of January, of course, falling at the beginning of the new year, is believed to be named in his honor, although some scholars say it is in fact named for Juno. I think Janus is accurate. January. Doesn't say January. Either way. Says, did you know the month of January is to believe the name be named for Janus? It's a time of new beginnings. As a god of change and the transition from past to present to future, Janus is sometimes considered a deity of time. In ancient Rome, the gates of Janus temple were only closed in times of peace, which didn't happen often. I'm not going to read any more. I think that's enough to know that that is not what we should be keeping. We shouldn't be keeping New Year's. If you are a believer in Yahuwah, who is a jealous God, who doesn't appreciate the worship of other gods, also the God who actually established a new year, according to scripture, who has his own calendar for his people, and we're claiming to be his people. We're the children of God. We're claiming to be the children of the God of Israel, right? Even Christians, I speak to you. You claim to follow Christ. Christ is God in the flesh. He is the Father. He is the Creator and the Son at the same time. And if you follow him, he gave us a calendar. He gave us holidays. We should be following him and not following the religions of the world. Okay? I don't know.